Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, today I have RJ Williams on the line, and he is founder and CEO at Young Hollywood, and this interview is part of our Milken Global Conference coverage series where we bring you the best of those that attended the conference, the speakers, the panelists, the VIPs, all of the above. So first thing first, RJ, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Adam. Good to be here.
All right, RJ, so I'm excited to get into Young Hollywood and what you're doing over there. I mean, you've been around now, over 18 years, and this is one of the first media brands built really from the ground up in the digital age in the way that you've done, in the manner you've done it. So I'm excited to get into that and more. But first, I mean, the Milken Global Conference, I know we're a couple months out now from the conference itself, but definitely want to get into that a bit. So have you been in the past? Was this your first time going? Like how was your experience?
Experience was incredible. And yeah, I've actually been there. It was my third year attending the conference. And each year just gets better and better. The first year you get there, you're trying to not know exactly what to expect and getting your feelers out. Now I feel like a veteran. Now I have newbies that are there that are asking me, how to navigate it and what to expect. So it's really fun. Definitely going to, attend it again next year. And it's something I plan to attend regularly. And mainly just it's a way to sort of look into the future. It's just the world's best thought leaders. And just getting perspectives of things that we're all thinking about, but you get to hear about it from them. And the world's evolving so much and every business is transforming so much. So that's the primary reason why I like to go, is just see, what do the next 10 years look like? We all know what's happening today, but this is a great crystal ball into where the world of business is going to be.
What do you think? I mean, a lot of different conferences, obviously, in your profession as well in media. What do you think makes this maybe unique from some of the other conferences out there? Like, what keeps you coming back? Year three, a lot of ways you can spend your time.
I think there are a few. One is obviously the relationship building. Great relationships I've met over the years. Literally, when I arrived this year, was getting out of the elevator and saw some people that I met last year that, don't live here, that are in other cities or other countries. So it was fun just knowing that it's the epicenter of everything going on that everybody gathers around yearly. So great relationships, like, somebody from Switzerland and Austria are both coming to town next week, and I'm having dinner with them, and we all met at the Milken Conference. So it goes well beyond the conference when you get to meet people all around the globe. And when you're in each other's cities, everyone stays in touch, and they have a great Milken app, which is how we connected. You found me on the Milken app, and, you can find other folks on that app to connect with. So I'd say number one is definitely the relationships. Two, the panels are just really fascinating. Just listening to some of the greatest thought leaders of our time talking about just what they know best and experts in the field. And I think the biggest pointer I learned is, but typically when you go to conferences, you go to what your expertise. So obviously I'm media and tech. So any other conference, I'm usually going to, whatever the media tracks are that are relevant to me, whether it be advertising or content production or social media. Milken on day one, someone gave me a pointer, is because it's so diverse, is you should go to things you know nothing about. Don't go to the media and entertainment conferences. Go to the economic conferences or the global warming conferences or the political conferences or things that you're not doing day to day, because then it just broadens it. And that was a phenomenal pointer. And that's what I really spent a lot of my time this year, real estate conferences or economy conferences or things that weren't so much focused on the media track. So it just, diversifies your way of thinking, and it really just helps in business overall.
That's awesome. Let's switch it up a bit. I want to get into what you're doing over at Young Hollywood. First off, 18 years in the business. Like, what was the original? Take me back in time here. What was the original inspiration, or why was Young Hollywood originally launched?
So I actually started media really young, 4 years old. I was a child actor, so all throughout my childhood grew up acting. I then attended USC Film School. And when I was at SC, there was sort of an aha moment where I'd read an article about the various studios and the different businesses they had and what was most profitable. And it was one about Viacom at the time, that Entertainment Tonight was one of the most profitable franchises, and exploring the business of that. And I thought, that was really fascinating. That's an interesting industry to get into. And so I started creating celebrity content for a lot of the traditional TV broadcasters at the time. Showtime became a big client. Fox became a big client. So I had my own production company, but it was a production services business where they would just hire us. We would facilitate creating all the content, but we didn't own the content. We didn't own a brand. We didn't own IP. And we were doing a branded entertainment campaign for Fox at the time. And I just saw the budget of what was going to Fox, and I saw what was going to us as the services. And I said, I need to be up there. I need to create the brand. So that was sort of the aha moment. And then that year I worked on, just developing the Young Hollywood brand and then shifted to that. So, took all the expertise and relationships I made doing the services and said, instead of doing it for other brands, now I'm just going to do it for my own brand. And then we started creating content for Young Hollywood, and 18 years later, here we are. And it was actually fascinating because the iPhone didn't even exist at the time. So we were really early on, and I said, you know what, television's very cluttered. Let's go where the others aren't going. And nobody was focusing on digital at the time. And certainly they weren't focusing on, online video content because you couldn't even watch it on your phone at that point. So I'm like, I think this is where the world's going to go. The famous saying that everybody uses, but it's true. The Wayne Gretzky statement of you don't skate where the puck is going. I mean, you don't skate where the puck is, you skate where the puck is going. So that was sort of my mentality. Digital is going to be the future. Let's build this digitally ground up. And nobody else had done that at that time.
Wow. So looking at that, I mean, because you're going from the early days, like how has this evolved over time? Like obviously in the beginning, you couldn't, as you mentioned, you couldn't watch video on your phone. So how has this evolved, and how have you managed to stay up to date?
It's evolved in several ways. One, the technology, obviously, first and foremost, has evolved. The distribution mechanisms, how people consume content, and it's rapidly increasing, the cutting the cord and watching it on multi-platforms, whether it be mobile devices or streaming devices or out-of-home networks. So we've always focused on that being our distribution, getting our content as many places as possible and many unique places as possible. So consumer viewing habits has evolved tremendously. What and how consumers watch is just very different. Attention spans are different. Short form has really become a big thing now, as we've seen with, the TikToks of the world and the Instagrams. It's not about half-hour shows anymore. It's bites of content, minute content, 2-minute content. So it's really tailoring the content for every platform. We'll do a segment or a celebrity interview, but we'll end up cutting it 20 different ways because depending on what platform you're going to watch it, you're going to want to see something very, very different. So that's what we learned. It used to be early on, you create a segment, you just put it out, and same thing on every platform. Now it's very different. We really tailor that experience for the platform, and we've seen tremendous results doing that. And then technology, which we'll get into, but AI, we're super bullish on that right now and doing a lot of really cool things in AI because we think, that's just going to revolutionize every industry, but, specifically our industry. There's lots of really cool things you can do with it.
And so looking at going to AI a little bit more, like how are you embracing AI in the media landscape? Like how are we using it? Why does it matter? Like where does this leave Young Hollywood?
So, we're embracing it a lot. It's in our daily routine now. Several ways. One is content discovery. When you have a large content library like us, thousands and tens of thousands of hours, you don't even know what you have. So it's a great way to use AI to get in your archives and find out if there's a current event or a trending event. We've built a lot of tools that'll surface up what content's relevant. So we can be really quick. If you're in the news cycle and something happens, now we can just type in whatever the event is that happened, and AI will filter back to us what content do we have that's relevant for that. So then we can get it out to our users. So I think it helps in the immediacy of news without question. And I just think it's just, so fascinating what you can do from an efficiency standpoint. It's not going to replace staff, but it's going to just enhance them and multiply what they can do. You can have one person in a role, if you have a marketing department, let's say you have 10 people in your marketing department, you can have one that runs it and then create 9 virtual marketing assistants that help that person. So it's the equivalent of them having 9 people report to them, but you don't actually have to have them report to them. So people are like, it's going to eliminate every job. I mean, no way, because somebody needs to program it. So I think it's just going to let you scale, and you're still going to have all the divisions you have, and you're still going to have all the departments you have, but you're just going to multiply and get a lot more done a lot faster because those division heads are going to now have tools and virtual staff, if you will, that can just make their life much easier. So it's super exciting time.
And what excites you right now? Like, of course, AI, but what in terms of what kind of content are you producing now? Like, talk to us about what's on the schedule for Young Hollywood.
It's exciting because it's that kind of moment where it's just changed. Like it used to be controlled by the big studios and these big conglomerates, and we're seeing the power is slowly going away from them, and it's going to the individual voices. And it's even smaller than us. I mean, obviously we're smaller mini studio, if you will, but there are now even individuals that are doing it. And even though that's not necessarily great for our business, it's still very exciting that an individual creator, influencer, because of new technology and new viewing habits can, have the same power that a studio has. I mean, you look at Mr. Beast and, Amazon just spent whatever it was, $150 million to do the series on an individual guy that has an audience. So it's just really exciting that you could create your own fan base and you can create your own audience without having a 5,000 person studio. You could have a small team and do that. So when you just look at the future, like, what does that look like? You just think about all the possibilities and what can happen. And it's just, I think, the most interesting time media has seen since television was created. I mean, I think that was a huge transformational moment. And now I think we're sort of seeing that again, that when you look, 10, 15, 20 years out, I mean, it's going to be completely different than it is now. And nobody knows what it's going to be, but it's the possibility of, wow, you could create a new way of consuming content, a new kind of content that could just be interesting. And, you look at all what AI can do and how you can just use that as a tool to create content. And some of the things we're seeing where you could take old videos and use AI tools to completely make them new and current and modern. I mean, the possibilities are just endless, and it's going to be super, super exciting. And I think more so in the world of celebrity, like you think celebrities that have passed away, they could come back and have a second life. Obviously, having rights is very important, and having permission from the estates is going to be critical to it. But when you think about it, performances from artists that are no longer with us but brought back to life in a new way is just really, really fascinating.
Fantastic. Well, this has been a lot of fun having you on the show today. I'm over here excited. I'm thinking about like the future of media, what the landscape's going to look like, and also why this matters, because I feel like if you think about, and I haven't been in this business this long, you've been in here 18 years, I'm going on 9. So thinking about when you started seeing it on phone, I'm like, now you got me thinking about what's next. Where's that puck going next, right?
I love it. That's what we all need to do. The future is a very, very exciting time, and I've actually never been as excited as I am now of the industry. And other people are like doom and gloom and it's falling apart, and I'm the opposite. I mean, I think this is the greatest opportunity we've ever had, and there's just so many things that are going to come out of this in the next few years. It's going to be very, very exciting.
Amazing. RJ, how do people follow Young Hollywood? How do they connect? And how do they do business with you?
We're Young Hollywood on all the platforms, Instagram, TikTok, X. Got the website, younghollywood.com. We've got a corporate site, yhworldwide.com. So any of the above, you can find us. And I'm on LinkedIn, so you can always find me there too, like everybody else, RJ Williams.
Fantastic. For everybody watching, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so you can click on the links and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And RJ, thanks again for coming on the show.
Adam, thank you, and congrats on everything you're building. I checked it out. It's very exciting, and it's a good way for people to get a look into where things are going. So it's very informative. So I love folks like you that are building content companies like this.